Hey guys, welcome or welcome back to my channel. Thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Destiny and this is my crochet. This video actually is going to be my first tutorial, and it's one of the first things that I learned how to make, and it's cat hats. So I have a few cat hats. You see me make this one in the video and I love it. Very Halloweeny, very beginner friendly. And then I show you guys some new like tips and tricks, just a little bit, for the seam area. But yeah, there's the hat. And then I'll show you what my cat hats used to look like. There used to be a seam in them. You'll see them more in the tutorial. If you guys are interested in learning how to make one of those, stick around. Don't forget to give this video a like, and if you're new here, might as well subscribe. We usually do like 24-hour challenges, a week in my life, things like that. But I'm trying to work on more tutorials, so stay tuned, hit that subscribe button, and yeah. And also, if you guys are interested in buying them, if you don't want to make them, or if you just want one that I made, all my links for my Etsy and my shop are down below, so go check those out. I wanted to film a tutorial for my cat hats because I've been asked to do a tutorial on my cat hat from some friends at school, so I thought I would do it. Recently, my most recent make has been this black and orange cat hat. You can kind of see the inside. I wanted to film a tutorial for these cat hats. I have that one. This one has also been a recent make. I really like this one, the green and the white. Here's the top. You can kind of see the top a little bit better with the green instead of the black. Here's an older one that I used to make. I make them differently now. I don't have a seam down the back anymore, but I used to. So that's what they used to look like. Now the seam is on the side. You can barely see them. I think experienced crocheters will see it, but other than that, like, you don't see it on either side. There's no seam. You know what I mean? Okay. This one is an older one as well. This one's made with not this same colorway, but this same yarn. The loops and thread bulky. This one's in the color Go Green, I believe, if you can see it. All right, Go Green Multi. But yes, they do suggest a 6.5. I use a 5, but we're not using that yarn today. Today, the yarn we're going to be using is some cotton yarn to remake this hat, but with an orange and black, and then the top will be orange as well. So yeah, I'm going to be using loops and thread, the classic cotton in the color bright orange, and I think this is just black. Yep, black. So yes, what you're gonna need for this tutorial is a crochet hook. I'm using a 4.5 millimeter. You can use a 5 or anything. I just don't want too many gaps in my hat. You're gonna need scissors, you're gonna need a needle, and then you're also gonna need a measuring tape. Anything will work. This one I just got at Walmart, I'm pretty sure, and I like it because of the retractableness of it. But yes, that is what you will need. Okay, to go ahead and get started, we're going to start with our main color. I'm going to use the orange as my main color this time. We're going to do a slip stitch. The way that I do my slip stitches is I hold the bottom of the yarn basically like this with my two bottom fingers. I use these two fingers, I wrap the yarn around, and then I make an X, and then I hold that top one with my thumb. Then I'm going to slip my hook underneath this first one, and then I'm going to grab make sure your yarn or your needle, sorry, make sure your hook is pointed down so you can grab the yarn easy. So yeah, I'm gonna grab this back one, pull this through, and then I'm just gonna close that, and then you got a slip stitch. Okay. All right. I'm not gonna tighten it too tight, but just gonna pull it a little bit. And then I wrap my yarn around my pinky. Ah, my cat! She's stealing my yarn. Anyways, I wrap around my pinky and then I wrap it around my index finger. So I have control. And then for the first, we're going to do a foundation chain. So for this first stitch, usually the way that you start crochet projects is you'll just start chaining, right? You'll yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, till you have the length that you need. If you're going to do that, I recommend going into the back bumps, but I don't want to do that. I want, oh, hello, ma'am. My cat is on my table. Excuse me. Okay. Yes, she's looking out the window right now. Anyways, we're making a slip stitch, right? We're gonna pull that through the bottom one, and then we're just gonna make that slip stitch. And then we're gonna chain two. So yarn over, right? Yarn over, pull through, yarn over again, pull through. And I have two chains. We're going to yarn over again, but we're not going to pull through this. So we're going to do a foundation chain. So we're going to go, so there's that second one and then that first one. We're going to go into the back bump of that first stitch. So the way you can tell them stitches, they're V's on the bottom. So 1, 2, and then there would be that 3. But instead we're going to go into the back bump of this and then pull through, and you should have 3 loops on your hook, and then you're going to yarn over. Keep this loose because you're going to go back through this top one, so don't pull it too tight. So you're going to go through 2 loops, yarn over, and go through 2. So you have a standing a foundation chain, and then you're going to yarn over, and then from the 2, that first one, we're going to go through the 2, oh gosh, this is so hard, you guys. Pull through, and then we have 3 on our hook again. We're going to yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over again, pull through 2, yarn over, go through that top one, the first one that we made, pull through, you have 3, pull through 2, pull through 2. All right, and we're just going to keep doing that until the hat makes the right circumference of the head that you're wanting to make. I'll go ahead and put the sizing on the screen. I'll do my best, you guys. But for an adult large, I'm gonna make it to where I think it's 24 inches, 22 to 24 inches, I think is an adult, medium, and large. And then you're gonna fold that in half. But we're just gonna keep doing that until it reaches the 22 inches. So right now I only have 2 inches. So 20 more inches to go. I will catch you back whenever I'm there too. The reason I'm doing a foundation chain as well is so that it's stretchy around your head. Instead of it being like a tight chain, I want to make sure that it stretches, especially for cotton. If you're going to be using cotton, cotton does not have a lot of stretch as much as acrylic would or wool or anything really. Cotton is just really stiff usually. But I do like the way that how they make my cat hats look. It just seems clean. And I also, for the for the sustainable girlies out there, if you don't want to be using acrylic, basically all you have to do is have the right sizing. Even with, if you're using acrylic, you're still gonna measure it and make sure. But when you measure it, I wouldn't pull it to measure it. I would just lay it flat to measure so that it's not actually too small or too tight whenever you're wearing it. Ma'am, that's rude. Okay, I'm gonna measure mine real quick. I'm sorry you guys can't see the entirety of it. Trust, I am measuring. Here, you guys can see where it ends. How about that? All right, let's see. At 19, so only got a few more inches to go. All right, it's at 23 right now, which I'm calling good enough. Okay, so from here, so you have the last stitch that you just pulled through. You're gonna flip your work over, and then making sure that it's straight, right? That there's no loop in that. You're gonna, from the bottom basically, so you're working this way, you're gonna flip it, and then you're gonna go into this top V of the first stitch. So we're just gonna go into it, and then with your working yarn, you're gonna pull through, and then you're gonna make a slip stitch. So you're just gonna pull through that other stitch, and then we're gonna turn our work. Don't chain one. We're gonna go through that last V, not the slip stitch, but that last V, yarn over and pull through, but we're not gonna pull through that other loop. We're actually gonna yarn over again and do a single crochet, and then we're gonna do a standing double or standing single. So we're gonna go through this first leg of that single crochet. If you look in the back, you can see that there's another part of that single crochet, but we're going to go through this front loop, this leg, so only one. We're going to yarn over, pull through, and then pull through two, and then you have a standing single or double. I don't really remember, to be honest. And then we're going to do double crochets all the way around. So the way you do a double crochet is you're going to, from this, you're going to yarn over, and you're going to go through the next stitch, pull through two, yarn over, pull through two. You have your double crochet. And you're going to keep doing that. Yarn over, pull loop through, go through two, go through two. Yarn over, go through the stitch, pull through two, and then pull through 2 again. All right, we're just gonna keep doing that until we get to the end of this row. Okay, so I've made it to the last stitch. There's our stacked. There's the top of that. If you want to mark that, also I would do that just so you don't lose it. It's pretty easy to lose. You don't want to go through that first single crochet. You want to go through that second one. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how to change color as well. So we're going to yarn over and do a double crochet like normal usually. We're going to go through the top, the 2, and then we're going to go through this top stitch, pull through, pull a loop through, and then instead of pulling this one through like you normally would, I'm going to grab my second color. Alright, so I have my second color. I don't make a slip stitch on this usually, but you can if you want to. If you do it with your hand, you just push up that top one, pull this second one through, and then you have a slip stitch, basically. And then you could put that on your hook, pull that tight a little bit, not too tight, and then you can just pull through those 2. If you're gonna do, I'll just keep it on there since that's fine. And instead of chaining one, we're gonna turn our work, and I'm gonna actually work through both of these yarns. So here's my working yarn, and then here's just the tail of that black. So we're gonna do the standing double or whatever it is. So you're gonna go through that first one, you're gonna pull a loop through, do a single crochet, and then in that first leg of that single crochet, I know you can't see it because it's black, you're just gonna pull through that 1 and then pull through 2, and then you have your standing. And then if you want, you can put a stitch marker in that so you don't lose it. So I'm just gonna crochet over my ends so that I have less weaving to do. I'm also going to pull these tight, give them a nice tug. Okay, and then we're just going to do double crochets all the way through. I usually do like 4 or 5 of my weaving in, just so I have a decent amount of stitches hidden, and then I'll just pull it out and then keep going normally. And then whatever side you leave your ends out at, that'll be the inside. And you just want to make sure that you keep leaving them on the same side. You can always tuck them back from the other side, but it just is cleaner if you do it on the same side. Okay. Okay, I made it to the last stitch. I'm gonna yarn over, do a regular double crochet, and then I'm actually gonna keep this color going for another row. So I'm not gonna change color. I'm just gonna do a slip stitch, turn my work, and then from this side, the one that I don't know if you can really see it, that's the slip stitch, and that's where I'm working into. My yarn is kind of covering that one, and then I'll just go through both both of these, this V, this top V, right. Okay. Single crochet, another single crochet in that first leg of that first single crochet. And then you got it stacked. And then just keep going, double crochet all the way back. We're just going to keep doing this, and then at the end of the next row we're going to change colors like we changed colors from the orange to the black. Yeah, and then if you weren't changing colors, if you just want to make a solid colored cat hat, you would just keep doing that. You would slip stitch, turn work, do a stacked double or single, I don't really know, I forget. Sorry, Google it. You guys are already on the internet. Anyways. Sorry. Anyways, um, yeah, slip stitch, single crochet in that first one, and then another single crochet on top of it, and then double crochets all the way around. Do again, slip stitch, turn work, you know, and then you just keep going until I do mine for 14 rows. For me, that just covers the top of my ears, which is good enough for me. If you don't like hats that cover your ears, then I would stop maybe at 12. Um, it just depends. Make sure you try it on as you're going a little bit. Make sure it fits around your head. Make sure it's not too loose or too tight. Um, I'm used to making these now, so I don't really have to try them on as I go, but yeah, if this is your first time making them, I do suggest. And then be careful with adding extra stitches into that where you're putting the stacked single or double or whatever it is. Pretty much. And then if you wanted a brim on your cat hat, you would just keep going. Maybe 16 rows, maybe 18. It just depends on how big of a brim you're wanting it to fold over. And yeah, pretty much. I will meet you guys when I'm at the next one. I'll show you guys one more color change, and then I'll just keep going until the end of it. Pretty much super easy pattern. I love making cat hats. They're so cute, and yeah, I don't know. I've been making cat hats since maybe 2020, 2021, something like that. It was one of the first things that I learned how to make because it's just basically like a pouch for your head. But yeah, super easy to do and very beginner friendly. A great way to learn new stitches as well. So yeah, that's how I make my cat hats, really. But yeah, I'll see you guys when I get to the next color change. Okay, so I have one more stitch to do on this row. By the way, I do count this foundation chain as a row. So we have 2 rows of orange, and then this was our second row of black. So I'm going to do one last double crochet. I'm going to slip stitch, or I would if I was doing the same color. But since I'm doing my other color, I'm actually going to cut this first color. You can just carry it over, but I like weaving mine in so that the inside is basically like reversible. Anyways, make a slip stitch again if you want. If not, you're still gonna sew in those ends, so I wouldn't worry too much about them. Anyways, okay, so we got the last 2, and then we're gonna slip stitch through this, right? I'm gonna pull this black one, that'll tighten that black bottom one, and then I'll turn my work, and then I'm gonna tuck in these ends as I go too. So I'm gonna do a single crochet in this first one. I'm gonna pull that yarn just a little bit, and then that leg, that first leg, do another single crochet. and then there's your stacked, and then we're just gonna weave in these ends and keep doing some double crochets. Make sure you pull these though, especially that black one. Okay. Yeah, pretty much. The front, you just pull them to like hide them a little bit better, but you won't see them too much. And then you'll just weave them in pretty much. But yeah. You just keep doing that. So with this one, you'll have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. And then at the top, here I'm flipping this inside out so you guys can see what I do at the top. I do single crochets into the front and then the back loop of each side so that I get these, right? The like seam, the top seam a little bit. If you don't want that seam, go through um, both sides of the stitches. So I don't know how to explain that. Struggle bus. Like this. If this was folded in half, you would go through both V's, right? Stitch them together. Instead, I went through the front loop and the back loop of the stitches. And then that's how I seam them together. And then that's how they have the stitch on top. Okay? So yeah, I'm gonna meet you back whenever I have 14 rows. I'll see you guys there. Okay, I hope you can't hear the Harry Potter in the background. So it's okay. I just finished the 13th row, so I'm just gonna start on the 14th and then be done. Okay, I'm at the last stitch, and then I'm gonna do this last double crochet. I'm gonna slip stitch into the top of that stacked double. I'm gonna flip this inside out so that the side with all the ends sticking out is the side that I'm working from. And then I'm gonna do single crochets along the top. For this last one, I am gonna chain one just to secure that last little bit. And then, so I'm gonna pick up the front loop of this one, this front one, and then the back one, I'm gonna pick up the back loop. You guys can see that, right? Okay, yarn over, pull through both of those, and then pull through both, and then that's a single crochet. And then we're just gonna keep doing that. So this front loop, and then this back loop of every V, all right? That one, and then that one, and then that one, okay? I'm just gonna do that all the way across. They do start turning in on each other, so the stitches should like start to line up. But you still want to make sure you're only going through those two. I do a single crochet instead of a slip stitch because the single crochet is more secure. There's two there's two yarn going into it instead of just like one. and it just makes it more secure, especially since it's going over some heads. And I don't know, like how often people be pulling down their hats, but just like readjusting and making sure that it doesn't break or anything. And I like the way that it looks, a single crochet on the other side when I flip it over. All right, so I have the last four. So 1, 2, and then 3, and then 4. They get a little harder to see, but this is why we made sure that we did the even numbers. All right, so it's going to be this one, and then basically straight through to the other one, which seems a little weird, but that's okay. Yep. All right. I just pulled it out a little to loosen my stitches. Okay, so now from here, I'm going to chain 1 and then cut this. All right, and then pull this out, and then we're done. Now we just have to sew in the ends. Here's the final look. No seam. There's the seam and what it looks like. But yeah, reversible pretty much. If you guys make this hat, tag me on Instagram or anything. My socials are linked down below. I just want to see what you guys make out of it if you guys use this tutorial. But yeah, I appreciate you guys watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. Bye bye.